Well, it is almost the weekend and almost time for the 4th of July, which means there's going to be a lot of fun things going on. And even though we have to contend with hot weather, as long as you're staying hydrated, we can have some fun. So obviously I have Joe Oliverio with me, I think.
You've got him, as well as Senator Lyman Hall from Georgia, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Artsbridge calendar has 22 events on it for this coming weekend. A lot of great activities going on. Like you said, if you're outside, stay hydrated. So let's just get them started right out of the chute. Tonight, there is no music in the park at City Park through Artsbridge. That'll resume next week. But if you like music in the park, head over to Marietta at their Muskingum Park tonight at 7 o'clock. The 3M Acoustic Group, one of the Artsbridge groups, is performing over there as well. Then, Parkersburg,
right
Friday, Saturday, Parkersburg America 250 celebration. Downtown PKB and all of Parkersburg has really bought into that. Family-friendly activities, food trucks, music, fireworks, July 4th at 10 p.m. So check that out. A lot of activities right there at Bicentennial Park, right next to Blennerhassett Hotel. Then Friday night, 1776, the cast from the Actors Guild will be performing at the Resiliency Center, and that begins at 8 o'clock. That's a change of venue from Bicentennial Park due to the heat and the weather forecast for
Better
that.
safe than sorry.
That's right.
A good backup plan.
They're going to have 200 chairs set up there, but feel free to bring your own. And then Saturday from 12 to 2, the 4th annual community picnic at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Go check those out if you're looking for a picnic, but you don't want to cook on July 4th. And then Sunday, Marietta Symphony Orchestra's Red, White, and Blue American Extravaganza. That's at the People's Bank Theater. A lot of events going on First Friday in Marietta this Friday as well. Valley Gem Sternwheeler, Wings of Belpre, People's Bank Theater, etc. So basically all that's going on. They can find it at artsbridgeonline.org. But we're talking about 1776, Henry, because that was originally, like I said, going to be at Bicentennial Park. Made the decision last night to move that in, so we appreciate the Resiliency Center on Market allowing that show to take place. We feel that's going to be best for all of the important figures that signed the Declaration of Independence.
Which
as
I
well
think
as,
we know one of the people that
that's
signed
right,
it.
Senator Lyman Hall from Georgia, Dr. Lyman Hall, and we're really excited about that. You'll see John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, a slew of dignitaries will be at that. So come on out to that at the Resiliency Center on Market, 8 o'clock on Friday.
And then as always, check out the other events over on artsbridgeonline.org, which right now the jingle competition should still be going on, but of course double check the website. It should be a fun weekend, and thank you, Joe, for coming in this morning to tell us all about those fun events. Hopefully you have a good one.
You too, my friend. Stay hydrated, folks.
And we'll have more on Daybreak right after the break.